Well, hello, oddballs. It's your host, Bobby.
And your co-host, Lexi.
And this is Oddities on Elm Street. Thank you for joining us on our Listener Tales episode today. And a big shout out to everyone who sent in their stories.
Yes, thank you.
Before we begin, we didn't get to talk about this, and I want to know how your Halloween went. Was it lovely? You sent me that cute little picture. You guys dressed up as tacos.
Yes, we were tacos.
Did you guys get like a lot of trick-or-treaters?
A decent amount. Much more than last year, because last year it all of a sudden started snowing and it was just super, super shitty outside. So we got 2 people last year.
We got really lucky this year.
Yeah, we did.
It was just really windy.
It was.
Our inflatables were holding on for dear life. It was bad.
But it was nice. I worked on my plants for most of the day, and then I started getting ready and turning the strobe lights on and getting the music going, playing my Halloween playlist.
Had all those cute little decorations out.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. So it was great.
It's
my
good.
husband and I just drank and handed out candy, but he's the dog handler while little children come to the door.
Yeah.
How's yours?
It was great. I mean, as you know, I always get really disappointed when we don't get trick-or-treaters because my husband and I, we go all out every year. We budget specifically every year just so that we can buy at least one big item to add on to all of our decorations. But
it's next level.
Yeah. We don't live in one of those neighborhoods that is walkable, so it doesn't even make sense for kids to come and trick or treat.
Right.
But I don't know. It's okay now because we have a little one, so we did our own trick or treating in a neighborhood and we dressed up as Ghostbusters. It was very great. And Bowie was the Stay Puft Marshmallow from Ghostbusters, who's adorable. I have pictures on Instagram, but I hope everyone had a lovely Halloween. I'm very sad that spooky season is over, but it never truly ends with us.
No, never.
We'll always be here.
And it'll be back before you freaking know it. Time flies.
I know. So today we're going to do a Listener Tales episode, and once we're done with this episode, we'll almost be caught up with all of our stories. So once it's done, and we'll have a little bit of time before we do another Listener Tales episode. So
send them in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's up to you guys to make sure you send your stories in so we can do another episode soon. So the email for that is listenertales@gmail.com. And a big shout out to all the people who did send in their stories. So now we get to
Do we have people who sent us stuff back that we asked for?
Not on this one, actually. No, okay. We don't. But yeah, so let's start off with our first story here. This one comes from a listener named Alexis. Alexis says that Chloe actually recommended she send her story in. And we know Chloe. Chloe has sent us quite a few stories before. So thanks for being a good wing woman, Chloe. I appreciate that. Let's jump into Alexis's story. She says, "Hello, my name is Alexis, and my friend Chloe recommended I share my experiences on the podcast. Before the age of 7, I was fine walking down the hallway until my family got a painting of a little girl in timeout with her dog."
What the fuck kind of painting is that?
Sounds like something I would get, actually. Sounds very artistic. After that, I didn't like walking down the hallway anymore. We had gotten this painting from the thrift store, so we didn't know its history or anything. Around the same time we got the painting, we also got a cat, and he hissed and scratched at the air in the hallway right underneath that painting. Cat knew something was up. I also hated my closet door being open, with a burning passion. It had to be shut or I couldn't sleep in my room. One time, my older sister left it open while I was in the room, and before I could leave, a little girl appeared, knees to chest on the closet floor. She told me, "Your mom's eyes are dying." and I ran out of the room to the kitchen where my mom was making dinner. I told her what the little girl said, and we walked to my room. My closet was empty, and the little girl never appeared to me again. But my older brother did see her when he was home alone. He saw her walking down the hallway before turning to go into my bedroom. She's just hanging out in your bedroom when you're not home. With that, everybody in my family has heard footsteps on the ceiling. I don't believe it's on the ceiling. That's interesting. I don't believe it's coming from the roof because I've heard what it sounds like on the roof, echoey and far away from inside the house. With these mysterious footsteps, it sounded as if there was a second floor and it was happening right above us, but that wouldn't be possible because we live in a one-floor duplex and there wasn't anything else above us besides the roof. These are just my experiences in the duplex. I have several other experiences if you'd like to hear them. I just didn't want to send a long email.
Send them all in a huge email.
Yeah. Okay, this story, when I was reading it last night, has left me with a few questions.
Yes.
Obviously, these are multiple different events that are taking place in the same house. The one thing I'm trying to figure out, though, is why this little girl in the closet said your mom's eyes are dying.
That is what has been in my noggin, too. Like,
what is that supposed to mean? And, I'm curious to know if anything has happened to where that would even make sense.
Right.
Is it a premonition? I don't know.
Is she from the picture?
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Oh, how freaky would that be?
Do you still have said picture?
Yeah, I want a picture of the picture.
Yes.
I want to see it.
Yes, please.
Yeah, send us some more information about that. We have questions here. That is really spooky, though, about the footprints on the ceiling. And when I read that, it reminded me of that scene in Hereditary where Toni Collette's character is crawling across the wall in the background.
Yeah.
It's horrifying. Yeah. I love that movie, but I hate that scene.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sending your story in, Alexis. We're glad our friend Chloe told you about us, so we'd love to hear more.
Yeah, get back with us. Please.
Definitely. So our second story comes from Liberty, and Liberty said she wanted to share this story from her childhood. She said, when I was around 7 or 8, I was reading a book in my bedroom when my brother started violently shaking the doorknob from the other side of the door. I kept yelling at him to stop because it was annoying, but as I was yelling, I expected to hear him laughing. I said it a few more times, and it didn't stop, and I couldn't hear a peep from him. Mind you, my brother is 3 years younger than me, and he was not good at staying quiet when he was trying to annoy me. When I didn't hear anything from him, I started to get scared because it felt unusual, so naturally, I hid under the covers. After a few seconds, the doorknob stopped shaking, and the door to my bedroom started to open. I don't like this. I didn't really understand why. If it wasn't my brother, my door wouldn't be shaking like this anyways, as it had no lock on it and was easy to open. I bravely peeped out from under the covers, and I saw a tall figure. He looked like a shadowy man, but where his eyes were supposed to be, you could see all the way through. I vividly remember seeing him standing there, looking in my direction, with his hand still on my doorknob. I was absolutely horrified, and I hid back under the covers for a while. When I finally poked my head back out, the man was gone, but my door was still open. When I finally got the courage to get up out of bed, I ran to my brother's room. His door was open, and he was fast asleep. I called his name a few times but got no response, which further proved to me that he was truly asleep. At this time, my mom was working nights at a psychiatric hospital, so I went to talk to my dad to explain what I had just seen. When I described the figure to him, his face sort of went blank for a second, and then he said he believed me because he had seen them too, but told me he wouldn't tell me more about the experience until I got older.
Oh my God.
Once I was older, my dad told me that in the same house I saw the figure in, a similar thing had happened to him. The doorknob to his bedroom shook for a moment before opening to reveal a shadowy figure with nothing in the eyes. He said this happened to him multiple times, all nearly the same way. Many years later, my little sister came to sleep with me, saying she thought she had seen a ghost. I don't remember ever telling my sister what the figure had looked like, and I believe she was either only a few months old or hadn't been born when I saw him. I asked her what the ghost she had seen looked like, and sure enough, it was a man made of shadows, according to her. She said everything was shadowy except 2 see-through holes where his eyes should have been. I've since learned about shadow people, but I still don't know what to make of this experience. I still think about it to this day. And then she clarified that she found out about the podcast through TikTok and is currently on episode 22, where we do listener tales, and she said, I knew I wasn't alone in the sightings of shadow people, but it's honestly shocking to see how many people have seen similar things. Signed, Liberty.
Liberty.
First of all, no, you're definitely not alone.
Absolutely not.
Because, like, actually last year, I think, last year when we started our Patreon,
yeah, that was
that was our first mini episode, was about Hat Man, who is a shadow figure.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hat Man is actually so legit that, like, they've done studies on this because there were so many people going to their doctors complaining of seeing this, like, dark, shadowy figure standing in the corner of their bedroom or at the foot of their bed or in their doorway.
And it's not sleep paralysis.
No. And
like, they can move.
Right. And that is kind of like the consensus that they've come to, is just like they don't know. Like, it's a shared experience. And yes, sleep paralysis could explain some of it, but it can't explain the entirety. Like, why is everyone, random people from all over the world that are not connected, having the same shared experience? Like, even Aaron Rodgers, the football player, has his own stories about, like, experiences with shadow people, specifically the Hat Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have my own stories about the Hat Man. So that's a whole other topic that we've already covered, but it's still very scary.
It is
a terrifying experience, but
and the fact that he's so prevalent in your house, and
that even your dad has seen
and
him,
your little sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more. You hear it, I'm just bubbling.
That's crazy.
It's very spooky. Well, thank you for sending that in, Liberty.
Yeah.
We appreciate your story. It's still coming. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm gas a gal today. Oh my god. The shadow man is living inside of me. He's trying to come out. Don't give us away. All right. Okay, so our next story comes from Kat. And I love the name Kat. I don't know. I just do. It's so lovely. All right, so Kat says, Hi, I love this podcast so much, and I appreciate how respectful y'all are when handling sensitive topics. That y'all threw me off. Just not used to it.
How do I say y'all?
My Midwestern self is like, you mean you guys? Okay, anyways, so this tale is spooky in a sense, but also heartwarming. I love heartwarming, spooky stories.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to give a warning that this story does involve the death of a pet. Well, thank you for that warning. I'm sure there's some people who don't want to hear it, but...
Does the dog die.com.
I know. She's foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm.
I am an architectural... your job is so fancy, I can't even say it. Architectural historian. And I work for a small cultural resources firm that has a small campus. We jokingly refer to the history department's building as cursed. 3 of the buildings on campus are old 1960s ranch houses that have been modernized to have been brought up to code. The main building is this gorgeous 1910 bungalow. It's haunted, but I'll save that for another story. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that.
Please.
I also want to add that campus is in an area of the deep south that is lower income, where it rains constantly and has a lot of stray animals. A few years ago, lightning struck the building. That normally wouldn't be an issue because the fire department is just down the street. No fire this time. Is this like a recurring thing? You guys just keep getting struck by lightning? Like, oh, no fire this time. No need to call the fire department. Whew, we're okay. Instead, the lightning somehow came through an outlet and fried 2 laptops and all of the accompanying equipment.
Oh.
No one was hurt, thank goodness. 2 years later, a tree fell on the building in the same spot the lightning struck. What are you guys keeping in this room? Like, what is going on? Last year, we had a Prius for field work. It also got struck by lightning and basically caught on fire.
Oh my God.
I thought this wasn't supposed to happen to cars, but I'm not an expert. I've gotten struck by lightning in a car. So is my sister, actually, now that I think about it. I thought I was getting pulled over because I just saw lights flashing in my mirrors and stuff. Yeah. And then I heard like the it was like my tires rumbling. It was really scary. It fucked my radio up. My radio never worked again after that. I'd use like one of those little, what do you call them? Like a cassette tape that goes in and you plug it into your iPod.
I remember those.
Hell yeah. She says, then there is the squirrel incident of 2022. Love how this is its own holiday. During the summer, when everyone was on vacation, a frickin' squirrel chewed its way into the duct system and died in the exhaust area above our stove. It smelled like death. Long story short, the stove went to appliance heaven, and we have a nice vintage filing cabinet in its place. You would think the squirrels would learn to not do that, but no. One got stuck in the attic, and maggots were dropping onto someone's desk.
Oh my God.
That is disgusting.
Oh my God. I hate maggots. I can't.
Oh, I have such a good maggot story for you.
Don't.
We'll have to tell it another time.
Okay.
She says, dead rodents are not an uncommon sight here because we have a domesticated stray cat named Miss Kitty who loves to leave us gifts. Thanks, Miss Kitty. About a month ago, another cat joined our campus. He was so cute with black fur and green eyes. He started to become comfortable, so we named him Binks. Unfortunately, he got hit by a car in the night. That's so sad. When I got to campus the following morning, it looked like he made his way back to his new home, so I am happy he at least felt safe with us. Oh, so he got hit by a car and then made it back to your workplace before passing away?
Like he didn't pass from the car? He just got...
That's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
He got hit by a car in the night. When I got to campus the following morning, it looked like he made his way back to his new home, so I'm happy he at least felt safe with us. I was distraught, so we buried him with a brick headstone that read Binks, and now his watch has ended. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry right now. That is so sad. I told everyone in my building that I bet in the next few weeks another cat would show up on campus. I was expecting a kitten or some random tabby. This morning I was walking to the main building and I thought I saw a ghost. There was a nearly identical black cat with green eyes waiting at the back door. I think Binks finally came back home.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I'm gonna need to take a quick sob here. Just a minute. That is, oh my God, I literally can't put into words. This story just made me feel some type of way. First of all, your job sounds really cool.
You must be intelligent.
Couldn't be us.
No, really, though, you sound super smart.
Really, though? Like, you're a great writer. The whole time I was just, like, picturing everything you're putting out. Yep. And, but God, that story about poor little Binks, that just rips my heart out.
Yeah, I wonder, like, is he Binks too? Like, did you guys name him?
Yeah, is he Binks 2.0?
Or just, like, Binks reincarnated?
That's so sad, but that is a really lovely story. Thank you.
Just the image of a poor cat.
I know, that's what, yeah. Don't repeat it. Just stop. I'm going to stop you right there. I'm feeling some type of way. So.
I get it.
Oh, man. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us, Kat.
Yeah.
And please do send in more stories when you get a chance. I'm really interested about that 1910 bungalow you said it was haunted.
Right.
I love it. Our next story is from Elise. So Elise sent us multiple stories.
Hell yeah.
In like PDF format, everything.
Like she went all out.
All out. I'm going to break them up across multiple episodes.
Okay, sweet.
So this is the one that I picked for our episode today.
Awesome.
It says, my friend Bridget and I work for a local college. In the summer, our hours change slightly, and part of that involves our normal hour lunches being shortened to half-hour lunches so we can go home earlier in the day. On our last day before the schedule change, she and I decided to go somewhere fun for lunch since we wouldn't really be able to do so once we had our shorter lunches. I had told her about a local vegan junk food place that she had not tried before, and we decided to give it a go. When we got to the restaurant, we got out and walked to the door, only to find a little note on it saying they had an emergency and needed to unexpectedly close. We got back in the car and decided to go to a different place that sold both vegan and non-vegan versions of the best sandwiches you will ever have in your life. Since we had wasted some time with our drive to the first place, we decided to order online so we could just go pick up the sandwiches and go back to work. We sat there talking about the kind of sandwiches we wanted and placed the order, and then were ready to go. I looked behind me, both in my mirror and over my shoulder, before pulling out of my parking space. As I backed up, someone stood up from the back right side of my car. I had backed up at an angle, so we were now looking right at this person. It was a man wearing a ski mask, hoodie, and jeans. He had his hand in his pants.
Oh my God.
It was the middle of the summer, so at first I just thought, how is he not roasting in that? Until Bridget looked panicked. Then it dawned on me what was going on. This man had been crouched on the ground next to the door of my back seat.
Oh my God.
To my horror, I realized our doors were not locked. I locked them quickly while the man walked toward my car. I hit the gas and drove past him out of the parking lot. But the drive for this business was right at the corner of a major road and a small side street. We stopped at the stop sign and waited for a break in traffic. The man walked out of the parking lot and continued toward our car. I saw a tiny gap in cars and realized that the car after the gap was a cop, so I gunned it and cut him off to get out of the major road. I figured this was a win-win. Either we get away from the guy or the cop pulls us over and we can explain what's going on.
Right? Yeah.
The cop seemed completely oblivious to my Fast and Furious style driving, which honestly is impressive because my car is kind of noticeable. It's a weirder, older model with a ton of stickers and pink details. We got further up the street and were stopped at a light. I looked in the mirror and saw the man running up the street at us. Luckily, the light turned green and I took off. My car may be old, but it's a V8 and I took full advantage of that. I'm honestly shocked the cop didn't pull us over because I was going over 60 in a 35. What is this cop doing? He's like, nah, it's my lunch break. I'm gonna enjoy my time. Once we'd put serious distance between us and the man we talked about what had happened and clarified that yes, we both saw the ski mask and his hand in his pants and had both come to the same realization about where this man must have been right before we backed up. After we got some tasty sandwiches and went back to work, we told the story to a few coworkers who were all shocked. I've had so many near misses with violence in my life that I've been a bit desensitized, but I did make a mental note to buy some pepper spray. Yeah. Bridget and I have no idea what could have happened to us, but when the best scenario was that we were about to be carjacked and all the other possible options get dramatically worse from there, we were just glad it ended up the way that it did. I got a good enough look at the whole hand-pants situation to know he wasn't holding a gun in his pants. It was clear from the amount of movement occurring that something else was going on.
Oh my God.
What the fuck? Oh my God, that is horrifying. Someone asked me later that day if we had called the cops or reported it, and I realized that it hadn't even crossed my mind. Earlier that week, we had cops at our duplex because our downstairs neighbor called them about a man lurking in the shrubbery who had followed them when they took their dog out. I just want to know where you live so I can never go there. What's going on? I also talked to the police about a man I saw hurt a bunny. What is happening? For both of these, all we got was, it's getting warm out. People get weird when it gets hot. What do you want us to do about it?
What the fuck?
So it hadn't even crossed my mind to let them know about the fact because, hey,
it's getting hot out.
What were they going to do about it? I'm not keen on going to the cops after getting tear gassed at a Christmas tree lighting turned riot a year or so prior. Oh my God.
You.
Now I definitely want to know where you live. What the fuck is happening? I did promise that person I would report it if it happened to anyone else. I joined a police scanner group for our area and have been watching ever since to make sure. Carrying pepper spray only lasted like a week because I was terrified it would accidentally go off in my purse. I'm the same way. I'm so scared I'm going to set it off on accident. It's like, I can't imagine carrying any other weapon. Good Lord. But ever since this day, the very first thing I do when I get in my car is to make sure there's no one in the back seat and then to lock the doors.
Good. That's great.
That is the first thing I do every time I get in my car.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as my ass hits the seat, press the button.
As soon as the door shuts.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That comes after. You're right.
Often, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought about this though, and it's especially hard when you become a mom and you're in a parking lot trying to like secure your screaming, kicking toddler into their car seat with your back turned to whoever. Like, it's a very vulnerable position to be in. Yeah. That is a smart habit to get into. It's unfortunate that we have to, but we better to be safe than sorry, you know.
Jeez.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, Elise. I'm really excited to get to read the rest of them.
Yeah.
And share them on our future listener tales.
Let us know where you live.
Yeah, we'll make a little mental note of that. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so the last story that we're gonna share today comes from our listener, Deshawn. They said, "My mother passed away at the age of 34. That's so young. 34.
Oh, wow.
Although this was a very difficult time for me, I had to move in with my uncle. His house had an additional add-on, which my bedroom was in. The top level of the house had 2 rooms, one for my uncle and the other was for his son, Marcus. At this time, I was 12 and my cousin was 9. You were only 12 when your mother passed away? I'm so sorry. Wow. For whatever plumbing mystery, when you would flush the toilet upstairs, the one in my room would flush as well.
I haven't heard about that before.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I never thought anything of it, but this particular day was my mother's funeral, and she was buried in a red suit. After the funeral, the adults thought it would be a good idea to send the kids to the movies to brighten our spirits. After the movie, we returned home and back to our bedrooms to watch whatever was on TV at the time. As I'm watching TV, my toilet flushes. Not thinking anything of it, my cousin comes into my room moments later to asked why I was using his bathroom. I told him I didn't, and that maybe it was his father. He quickly responded that his father wasn't upstairs. He wasn't even in the house. As Marcus stood in my room with his back to the door, I could see out past him, and my toilet flushes again.
What
the haunted toilets. Hey, ghosts gotta go too, you know. This time we both look at my bathroom, and out towards the foyer of the house where the steps are, you could see a blurry figure in red moving past the foyer. Immediately startled, we darted out of my room and attempted to pass through the foyer. While passing the stairs, we could hear 2 different distinct women's voices whisper, "Marcus" and "Deshawn." Knowing this was a house full of guys, I began to push my cousin forward as we ran out the back door and out the driveway, where we began to climb the gate.
Oh my God!
This is the funny part here. His father was outside talking to the neighbor and asked us what the fuck we were doing. Needless to say, he didn't believe us, and I never slept in that room again. To make it way worse, we always thought the voices we heard was my mother and Marcus's mom, who had died over 6 years prior during childbirth to his younger sister, who also passed during delivery. That whole story is just so tragic. Like, I'm so sorry you guys had to go through not just like this, you know, your mom passing away, but then to have such a scary experience the night of the funeral. It does make me wonder, like, obviously he said that his mom was buried in a red suit, and then this figure that he saw in the foyer was in red. I'm wondering if it gives him any comfort at all to know that it was possibly his mother. I mean, You hear all the time about, like, people attending their own funerals type of thing. And then, like,
yeah.
showing their loved ones, like, hey, I'm here, before
okay.
they
Yeah.
go off to whatever journey they're on next. So it just makes me wonder, like, if that's somehow more comforting than just a terrifying experience.
Right.
Hmm.
That toilet situation is weird, though.
Yeah, what is up with that?
I don't know.
Who did the plumbing in your house?
I don't know. It seems like it would be hard to do.
I don't know what's up with that. But
wow. Well, thanks for sharing. That's I hope you're doing okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that is that seems like a very hard thing to go through. Oh, what was I going to say? I had a note somewhere. Oh, just
read it. I
No, I was just going to say I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for sending their spooky stories, and that I wish that we would have done this before Halloween so it could have gotten me in the holiday spirit. That's all.
We don't need that to get in the holiday spirit. We just need September to come.
You need what?
September to come.
Oh. I thought you said some timber. It's like, what?
Some timber.
Some timber. Anyways, if you guys have a story you'd like to share with us, make sure to send it over to listenertales. Hello? I'm scared now. Our light just shut off on our camera. That was kind of spooky. YouTube.
Is it still going?
The camera is, yeah, but the light just shut off. Hello?
Meep.
Anyways, so yeah, if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, what was that?
We don't know.
We don't know. The light just shut off. Sorry.
Meep.
Yeah, like I said before, we have just a few more that we can get through in future episodes, but we got to get a few more going here so that we can put it together and make a full thing. So send them on in.
Please.
Also, if you want more content from us, make sure to go check out our page on Patreon. We just posted a mini episode last week, and I'm sure we'll have more content going up shortly.
Come see us.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here and hanging out for Listener Tales. We appreciate your support. We hope you have a lovely week. And remember to always keep it spooky.